Okay, we're going to finish practice test 3 right now. So here we go. We are ready for problem number 9 on practice test 3. Problem number 9 on practice test 3. Here we go. Consider this. All right. List the possible rational roots. So the PRRs are factors of 2 over factors of 1. So there really aren't very many to find. Now it says find them. So we'll just take a guess. I don't know, let's try 2. I'm picking a number out of this list. Hey, I think we got lucky again. There we go. So one of the roots, we're supposed to be finding the roots. So one of the roots is 2. There's going to be 3 of them because it's an x cubed problem, and we just guessed one of them. Now we got to find the other ones. So after we divide and get a 0, we take what's left, which is x squared plus 9x plus 1, and we solve that. So we can factor it if it factors. This obviously does not factor, so we'll use the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 77. Year I graduated from high school, 1977. And there are your other 2 roots because that does not simplify. So negative 9 plus or minus root 77 over 2. There are your answers or your roots to this problem. Those are the x-intercepts. Those are the solutions to the problem. Okay. Well, that took up about all the space I have, so I'm going to go ahead and erase now. It says x plus 2 is 1 factor of x cubed plus 12x squared plus 41x plus 42. So just like 2 worked, they're telling me in this problem that negative 2 works. Remember, the factor x plus 2 gives us a 0 of negative 2. So that's what goes in the box, negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and divide that out and see what happens. Sure enough, it did. But I knew that was going to happen, or at least I hoped it was going to happen. They told me that was one of the factors, so I expected to get a 0. What's important to me is what's left. X squared plus 10x plus 21. Now I got to deal with that. Well, this one does factor. The one we just finished, we did exactly the same thing, guys. We did exactly the same thing, only what we had left didn't factor. Well, this one does. So I'm going to go ahead and factor. And that's the answer to the question, because the problem says find the other factors. There they are. And I got them by factoring what I had left after I divided. Number 11, volume varies inversely as pressure. Volume varies inversely as pressure. Remember, if you had direct variation, it would be K times P. That's direct variation. We don't have direct, we have varies inversely. So this is our setup. If the pressure is 12, so P is 12, the volume is 5. Now, if you're really paying attention to what you're writing down, this says that K equals 60, because you're just going to multiply both sides by 12. So K is 60. Now, that isn't what the question wanted to know, but it's right there. K is 60. Find the pressure if the volume is 16. Now, the good news is I already know K is 60, so I'm going to put 60 right there. Now I need to solve that. So just do it in 2 steps and save yourself some trouble. Multiply both sides by P, so 16P equals 60, and then divide by 16. So P ends up equaling 60 over 16, which is reducible. Let's see, 4s would be 15 over 4. That's your answer, 15 over 4. All right, number 12, we're almost done. Number 12. Got another equation. It says list the PRRs. All righty, here we go. The PRRs are factors of 8 over factors of 1. All right, find them. Find the factors. Well, I'm going to have to divide. So, I don't know, I've had pretty good luck with 2. I'm going to try 2. I just keep thinking at some point my luck's going to run out. Not this time. 2 worked again. When in doubt, try 2 apparently. So one of my, if I were going to, I am going to graph this. So I'm going to go ahead and set my graph up over here. It tells me that one of my x-intercepts is 2. This number right here is an x-intercept, 2. Now to find the others, I'm going to go ahead and divide, or not divide, I'm going to go ahead and write this out and look at what I have left. X squared minus 3x minus 4. Now, this is the 3rd one we've done just since we started here. You take what's left and you either factor it or you use the quadratic formula on it. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you can only use the formula because it doesn't factor. This one does factor, so I'm going to go ahead and factor it. And it's x minus 4 plus 1. Now, wait a second. Part B says find the factors. There are 3 factors. There's the 2 that came out of this right here, and then there's the 1 that gave me this dot. Now, that one is the one I got by guessing, but if the dot is at 2, 0, which it is, because the dot is whatever number's in the box, if the dot's there, then that factor would have to be x minus 2. So here are the factors. This is the answer to part B. Now the sketch, I've already done all the hard work here. I just have to put my points on. Nothing is squared. It's a regular, simple little cubic function. So it just winds its way through those three points. Okay. All right. Now we're going to do another sketch. But this one already factored for me. So we know how to start. There's only 2 parentheses, guys, so there's only going to be 2 dots. One at -1 and one at 2. Before I go any further, I need to figure out how many x's I have in the problem total. So it looks like I have 2 here and 2 here, so that's a total of 4. 4 is an even number. This is x to the 4th. It's an even number. Evens are up, up. That's their end behavior, up, up. But this one has a negative in front of it, so it won't be up, up, it will be down, down. So this is going to start down here and come up to that point. When it hits that point, it's going to turn around, bounce off, turn around, and come back down and connect to this one. When it hits that point, it's going to turn around and go back down. So there is a picture. Now notice, this 2 right here had nothing to do with my sketch. I'm not worried about that 2. I need to pay attention to my parentheses, I need to pay attention to my powers, and I need to pay attention to that sign right there. It's negative, so that turned it upside down from what it normally would have been. Wow, last problem. Now notice, this one, number 14, looks just like number 12. But look how I asked the question. I asked the question differently. I didn't say list the PRRs. You could. This one has PRRs. You could list them for sure. But I didn't ask you to. And if I didn't ask you to, that means you don't have to do it that way. If you want to do it that way, you can. But this one factors by grouping. And that will always be faster and easier. So that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take an x squared out of the first 2 terms. I'm going to take a -4 out of the last 2 terms. Remember, I'm taking out the negative. So I have my common factor, which is x plus 2. And then I also have x squared minus 4. But this happens to us every time. We know that's the difference of squares. So that's going to factor as x plus 2, x minus 2. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do you notice? See this right here? That means x plus 2 squared times x minus 2. Go back to the beginning if you're confused. At this point right here, my common factor is x plus 2. The leftover is x squared minus 4. So this guy's already there, and then when I factor this, I get another one. So now I've got 2 of those. Which means when I graph it, you know what that means. I'm going to have a bounce off. So I have a dot at -2 and a dot at 2. It's a regular cubic function, so it starts down here. But that dot came from this factor, and there were 2 of those. So it's going to bounce off, come down, connect. There aren't 2 of those, so it's going to go right on through. And that is the sketch. Okay, hope you're having a good day.